It's been a while since I've talked about a product release here on the podcast, so I figured I would just shed some light on the new RS t-shirts that were released a few weeks back. For the uninitiated, the RS t-shirts are a limited production release each year, typically during these warmer months, never to be reproduced. This new release is actually done in a color called amethyst, which was inspired by a friendship I hold near and dear with Michael Luther, a former podcast guest. He was the founder of Molequin, which you may have heard the episode, and he happens to own a GT3 Touring in PTS Amethyst Metallic, which looks unbelievable. It's a color made famous mainly during the 964 model era of the 911, in which Porsche, if you aren't aware, the RS versions of those cars are typically lighter, more expensive materials that are often painted brighter colors. So I thought we'd do the same with our t-shirts here for the RS t-shirt. They're made from 36 singles fabric, so these t-shirts are much lighter than others in the standard H range. And the cotton fabric dictates that these are made from some of the finest cotton yarns money can buy, given the fact that they're Supima cotton. As for color, it's fair to say that these extend far beyond the norm for standard H, inspired by, pretty much my favorite out there colors from the makers of Porsche. It's inevitable these lighter t-shirts would be called RS t-shirts, so RS colors they needed to be. The branding is minimal, as always, thus represented by the tab on the lower left of these shirts, inspired by the lightweight door handles from, you guessed it, an RS Porsche. These RS t-shirts are available now on our website, which is just standard-h.com, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. Thank you so much for listening, and let's get to the episode. Neall Brick and I met through Windup a couple years ago and immediately hit it off. He was shooting with a Leica Q2 and I was selling a jacket he wanted. Funny how these things can happen. With very limited research, I quickly found out Neall and I had even more in common, namely a history working within the apparel industry, so I was excited to invite him on the show. In this conversation, we explore Neall's watch journey and chat about how he became an instrumental part of Citizen Watches somewhat through a chance inquiry on LinkedIn. Naturally, we geek out a bit on cameras and discuss what he considers to be the greatest movie of all time. I'm your host, Wesley Smith, and you're listening to the Standard H Podcast.
There we go.
There he is.
What's going on?
Oh, you're looking at it. How you doing, man?
Pretty good, pretty good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I got you loud and clear.
Sounds good.
All right, tell me about this office you're in.
Yeah, so this is my office at home. I guess it'll be one day a girl's bedroom, but for now it's my office. uh, yeah, so I work from home one day a week, so I need to have an office, and I basically have all the stuff that Care won't let me have around the house. So like over there, I got all my comic books and graphic novels and toys. And then behind me, I got the crossbow is actually from Huckberry. It's a marshmallow crossbow,
Okay.
marshmallows. I got that like classic Explorer ad, just like climbing Everest kind of thing. I got Ink Dial. I don't know if you know him. He did the No Time to Die and DB5.
Nice.
And some art and the original Batman comic from Poison Ivy, and then I got all my kind of books and watches and shit over here.
Nice. Well, the ad, did you get it from Nick? Did you get it from Ad Patino?
I actually didn't. It was do you know Rico's Watch podcast?
Yes.
So I was like number 7 on his podcast. It was really early, and we were talking, and he's like, "I have these extra Explorer ads if you want them," and he sent them to me. So I have that one and like a modern one. They're not like really good condition. There's like a little bit cut off, but like it was free and it looks cool. So
Yeah. Now, above the Batman comic, you have something framed. It looks like a postcard with blue jeans on it. I can't really tell.
yes, so that was a gift. I forgot for which Father's Day. It was a few Father's Days ago from my wife. It's an artist called Portrait Me, I think portrait.me. And basically you send her like what your interests are, and she makes this little postcard. Let me see if I can get it off.
So it's almost kind of like a collage.
It is, yeah. So what it has on here is it's like very me, if you can see it.
Okay,
But
so
it
a
has
watch,
the Rolex
jeans.
Explorer. It has Deacon Jones, who is a famous Rams lineman. I'm a huge Rams fan. It has, I'm not sure if you've ever been to the Strand bookstore, but that's like on the outside of the bookstore. They have like these books. So we used to go there all the time. We lived in Lower East Side. I love movies, and these are three tickets to like Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and Rises. Chinese food, a Leica camera, jeans when I worked for Levi's, an old fashioned, a Coke bottle, and then our favorite movie is True Romance. And I don't know if you've seen the movie, but at the end she writes, "You're so cool" on that napkin.
I I've I I'll be honest, I've never seen that movie, but I know it's
What?
wildly famous. Yeah, I know. You would be shocked at the movies that I have not seen.
That was cool because it's like it's Tarantino, but it's not Tarantino directing it. It's like his version of a love story. I guess he sold that script to pay for directing Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he
Well,
sold it to get the money to he had to pick one. He picked Reservoir Dogs, but to direct. But it's a pretty awesome movie.
well, Reservoir Dogs, or at least part of it, was filmed in my old neighborhood in Eagle Rock.
Oh shit, that's cool.
So there's that.
Yeah,
That's my connection.
there you go.
I have seen Reservoir Dogs, however. So
Okay, that's good.
okay, so let's talk photography really quick, because like, what got you into it, just in general?
Boredom, I guess. So I was always like, I don't know, peripherally into it. I never took classes in school. I never did anything like that. But during COVID, there's nothing to do really, right? And I got really into trying to take pictures of my jeans and shit, like those lay flats with my phone. And I was like, this is kind of cool, but like I'd like to like step it up a little bit. So I asked a friendly, one of my wife's friends who dabbled in photography a little bit. He's like, just get like an entry DSLR. So I got a Nikon D5600 and a couple lenses, and I started shooting it. And I like fell in love with bokeh, like every young photographer does, I guess. Like it's just a cool feature. And I guess I have a very, I know I go really deep, really fast. So the 5600 soon was not enough. And then I started going on the forums, and I found that I wanted a fixed lens, and I wanted to start shooting like nature. And then I was trying to go back in the city, and I thought street photography could be cool. And everyone kind of suggested the Fuji X100F
Sure.
or the V. So I got the F first, and one of the big complaints with the F is it's very soft at 2.0. Like it's very mushy. And I wanted to shoot watch stuff at 2.0, so I was like, well, let me see if I can find a V. And one of my friends on Instagram was like, "Hey, I'm actually selling a V right now," and it was a very fair deal. So I went and bought that, and that's what I shot for a very long time with. And it was a lot of fun. I really learned how to like work a camera with that because you can make it pretty as manual as you want it to be with all the exterior controls. And then because again, I have that gas that I want that gear. I I went and picked up a Leica Q2 with the money that I sold my Speedy with.
Oh,
So
wow.
I had the 3861 Speedy, and this was into my job at Citizen. So I no longer wore the Speedy really anymore. It's like I'd rather have a cool camera. So I sold the Speedy to fund the Q2, and that was like my everyday, all day camera for about, I don't know, almost 2 years until I recently sold it.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I didn't realize. So you picked up photography like the beginning of COVID.
Like I got my D5600 probably like May of 2020.
Wow. Okay, so this is like a recent development for you. Okay, so what did you sell the Q2 for?
Uh, well, I thought I wanted to just save some money, and I put it towards. Well, I was gonna get the X106, and I pre-ordered it, but then it's like I'm still haven't gotten that pre-order. Um,
Oh, wow.
but I got an X Pro 3 and some lenses,
Okay.
and actually then I started getting into film a little bit. So I bought a Bessa R2, a Voigtlander Bessa R2. And it came with a 35 millimeter Voigtlander. So I was like, I'll dabble in the film a little bit. This is kind of cool. And that's a whole other rabbit hole now that I'm trying to like not dive too deep in because it's so expensive with the film and developing, but it's still, you can't get images like you get on film with digital. You just can't. So it's
Right.
pretty cool.
Okay. So you obviously have this like sense of creativity as well. So like where does this come from?
Um, it's a great question. I guess uh, creativity and kind of like the fashion industry has kind of always been in my family. My grandfather was a coat buyer for Macy's for forever,
Sick.
and then my mom was in the Macy's training program, and then worked for Federated or worked for a May company for 20 plus years, and then had a
Oh.
few jobs after that. Once Federated or Macy's Inc. took over, and that's what brought me over to New York when she opened the new design office for Walmart. But it's kind of always been in my blood. I never thought I would do it, to be honest. I played football in high school, and I wanted to go into sports management. I was going to go to SDSU. Um,
Really?
it kind of yeah. I went to high school in California, so it was there, and I just that's where I thought I would go. And after football, I had to get a job, and I started working at Abercrombie, like every I think 18-year-old kid does. And
Yeah.
I kind of liked it. And then I don't know if you know the store, The Buckle.
Yes. In fact, I was just listening to one of Jeremy Kirkland's episodes and they were talking about Buckle and that.
So Buckle was opening a store in my local mall, and I went and applied, and I didn't get an offer to be a sales role, but they were like, "We like you. You could be the stock guy." And I was like, "Okay." And I learned a lot about how store runs as a stock person. And it was funny though, because on the like friends and family opening night, like three salespeople didn't show up that were supposed to show up.
Right.
And so they're like, Neil, you got to go out on the floor. And I was like, okay. And I actually sold more than any of the salespeople that were there. So like, you can actually be on the floor now,
Oh, that's
doing
sick.
both stock and sales for a little bit, which was fun. And that's where I really kind of got the bug, I think. Buckle is an interesting experience. It's commission based, and so you really kind of hound people. But I took a different approach. I was very much standoffish, and if I saw someone holding a hanger, I'd be like, "Hey, can I just search your room?" And that really kind of worked. Just you start someone in a room, and then you keep bringing them stuff, and they end up buying it,
Well,
which is kind
that's
of fun. But
so. Do you know who Eric Allen Ford is? The guy that started Buck Mason?
I, I know the name, but I don't. I've never like interacted with them.
Okay. I mean, me neither, but during his conversation with Jeremy, it became clear that he was like the regional manager for Buckle.
Oh wow,
So where did you work for Buckle then? You went to high school in California. Where in California were you?
Valencia.
Okay, north of LA. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. Wait, is that because of your mom's job? Because she worked in fashion?
yeah. So I was born in Atlanta, and so she actually was in the Macy's training program in Atlanta. And then we moved to Houston for Foldies, and then St. Louis for Famous Bar, and then LA for Rob May. And then that's where I kind of high school. And then after high school, my plan was to go to SDSU for sports management or something like that. And I
Yeah.
started working this local job. And then my mom got the job in New York. And they were like, well, you could stay, but we're taking your car and you gotta kind of be on your own now. Or you can come with us and go to school in New York, and you could still like commute in the city or however you want to do it. But it kind of was like an I don't know, ultimatum a little bit. So I was like,
Right.
I don't know. I like this job here, and I kind of like the fashion industry. I know FIT's up there. Um, and I was one of those weird kids at like 19 who were very worried about getting a job out of school.
Interesting.
So I treated FIT kind of like a trade school, where I figured, you do 4 years there and you have an in to something.
Yeah.
And that worked out for me. I did 4 years, and I got a job right away at Steve Madden, being a sales coordinator, which is like super low end, but I got my foot in the door. Steve walked around the offices all the time. He was a pretty cool guy. Um, it was a cool first experience, and it kind of evolved from there.
That's cool. Wait, so your mom opened the Walmart design office? Is that what you're saying?
In New York, yeah.
Does she still work there?
No, she owns her own recruiting firm now in Arizona.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Because I have friends who work in that office.
Yeah, so this would have been '07, and then she probably left in like '09 or something. She wasn't there very long.
I guarantee you she knows people I know just because
I'm sure. She
the
usually
world
knows
is
a
so
lot of
small.
people.
Yeah. 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 That's cool though. Well, okay, so obviously you graduated from FIT, which like I don't think I knew that.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Besides FIT,
I was really, really motivated to go to your LinkedIn page like 2 nights ago.
oh, I did. I saw the request come through. There you go.
Yeah, there's that
FIT
too.
was cool. Yes. FIT was great. Like I said, I treated it more like a trade school. I graduated with fashion and merchandising management, which I don't think it is even a degree there anymore. They call it something else,
Oh, really?
with a specialization in product development, which I did not use until about a year and a half ago, because I was always on the sales end wherever I was.
Huh. Well, it's interesting because like back then, I guess, how would you describe what merchandising is? So for the listener who doesn't understand, because there's salespeople in a retail environment. There's managers, obviously. There's back stock guys, all that stuff, or stock guys in the back usually. But then on the office side, meaning like behind the scenes for fashion brands, say Gucci or Buck Mason or The Buckle, you've got planning, you've got merchandising, you've got visual merchandising. So like for the uninitiated, what does a merchandiser do?
Yeah. So from my experience at corporate level, merchandising is kind of like the planner of assortments, if you will. So you'll take you have to know what's coming down the pike, and you were almost like the liaison between sales and design. You work with design, you see what they want to do, you work with sales, you see what they want to do, and you kind of meet in the middle and kind of make sure that design doesn't go too crazy and sales isn't focused on what's selling right now because that's not going to sell in 12 months. So it has to be kind of an amalgamation of both. Um, I love it. It's been so fun to be in this world now and be creative for the first time in my career, at an actual like role level. I always just kind of like had my hand in something creative wherever I was, just kind of happened to be. But it's been a lot of fun now doing it efficiently.
So how does one reconcile in as a merchandiser, I guess? Because all my friends are designers. How do you reconcile like because there can be a situation where the two are at odds with one another because you're
100%.
basically like dictating to the designers what should be designed based on previous sales and what you are forecasting and think will be good sellers going forward. And the designers are like, whoa, we're the designers that tell the customer what they should buy. But you're kind of telling the designer what they should buy.
It's a very, very fine line. And there are arguments and, but it's all in good faith and good fun.
Sure.
It really is about like, your design and trends and what's coming down the pike. And I'm supposed to help you kind of lean into like, well, that may be really what's coming down, but it's not the most commercial. Let's tweak it a little bit. There's the concept car, and then there's the what comes out, in 5 years later, or whatever in the showroom. That's kind of where you take the really amazing design and the concept and make it a saleable product.
That's a really great analogy.
Yeah,
I
so
like
I
that.
tell my designer all the time, like, you were amazing at doing the concept car, and it looks really cool, and 10 people will buy it. We need thousands of people to buy this product. Let's tweak it a little bit.
Okay, so obviously that same role exists within watches because that's quite literally what you do now, correct? At Citizen.
Correct.
So, how is it similar? How is it different going from fashion in quotes, you know what I mean, like clothing, to something like an accessory such as a watch?
So it really isn't all that different, especially in the sales end. I worked as a account executive for Levi's and then Ralph Lauren before this. And when I was in sales at Citizen before I went over to product development and merchandising, it was almost the exact same job. I mean, it was
Mm.
just kind of like just sell product A. It didn't really matter what it was. You just had to know the product. So if you knew the washes, if you knew the denim, if you knew the shoes, if you knew the watches, or it all kind of worked out. And then I was kind of like peripherally near the merchandising and design side with Ralph Lauren and Levi's, but I was never really in those meetings, so I can tell you exactly how different it is there. But it's so much better than I thought it ever could be in watches. It really is truly like you get to be. especially with a brand like Citizen. There's hundreds of SKUs, and we're celebrating our 100th year in watchmaking this year. So we have no shortage of history to kind of lean on. You really can
Cool.
kind of like have the whole sandbox and play around and see what works. And it does take a long time to develop a watch, about 18 months from, sketch to showroom. But it's pretty amazing little life cycle.
I mean, for a brand like Ralph, I mean, they're 18 to 24 months in advance as well. I mean, just for
For sure.
planning and such, just because their distribution channels are so vast, they have to be.
Exactly.
Um, you painted your dining room British Racing Green.
Yes.
So I don't remember what happened. Did did my T-shirt come out first, or did the dining room come out
I
first?
think the t-shirt came out first. Yes.
I didn't want to take credit, but I did receive the text photo, and it was unbelievable.
Yes. The shirt came out, and I was like, you know what? This would be a cool color for a dining room. No. My wife Kara loves that color already, and we kind of wanted to warm the house up, especially for the holiday coming up. And we
Oh
took a
yeah,
bold chance, and we decided to paint the entire dining room this British Racing Green, and we did a whole gallery wall of mirrors, which is kind of fun. So it really kind of adds a rustic element next to the British Racing Green.
yeah, totally. What else have you done to your house aside from paint?
Not a whole lot. We painted our front door like a mustard yellow, which is kind of
Okay.
fun. The house is a navy blue, so it
Oh,
kind of works
cool.
in contrast.
Yeah.
We redid our daughter's bathroom. And that's kind of it for now. The master bathroom's on dock for one of the projects we want to do, but slow and steady.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the fashion thing real quick because I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the British Racing Green Dining Room. Um,
Of course.
given your storied history with denim, what's your go-to denim?
I wear 501 1954s almost every time I can wear denim. Uh, I still have a couple pairs from when I was there, so it's still the Cone Mills strength to fit.
Yeah,
I'm getting some good fades in one of them, and a couple of them are still untouched. So I got some pairs to go into.
nice.
I do occasionally like a Walls and Barnes salvage every once in a while. If I want to do like a wash there, but for more often than not, it's been a 1954 501, or I have a couple double RL like slim straights that I wore when I was there.
That's my go-to is the double RL.
Yeah,
I think they are the slim straight actually, or they might just be called the slim. I don't remember.
it's a good fit. Yeah,
They're thick, so I mean they're warm in the summer.
they're they are definitely thick.
I don't even remember. I think they're 14 ounce, maybe.
I want to say they might be even heavier than that.
Okay,
They
maybe
could be
16.
16.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
I always want to try like the crazy naked and famous, like the 21 ounce or the 30 ounce, just to like say I did
Yeah.
it. But I never got the initiative to go and do that.
Yeah, I feel like there's some Japanese brands that are like 26 ounce as well. That it's just like bomb proof.
I think we did 120-ounce premium red tab when I was at Levi's, and I have them somewhere. I need to get them altered because they're long. But and when they're long, you can't really cuff them at 20 ounces because it's just so thick.
Right, right. It's like
But
folding
that'll be
cardboard.
fun one day to kind of figure it out. Exactly. I remember uh, when I was with LVC or Levi's, I would always used to like after the first like soak, I would stand up the jeans and like they could stand up on their own because they were so rigid. And my wife would be like, "I don't even know how you wear that." She needs like very soft spandexy kind of cotton. I'm like, oh, 100% all the time, purist. But
Right.
it definitely takes some getting used to.
I'm speaking out of school to some degree, but as I recall, Patagonia used to make shorts that were called the stand-up short, and I feel like it was due to their thicker fabric. Because if I recall, they were canvas, and they might still
Oh
be,
wow.
and they're like a 5 inch inseam, I think, and I think they may have made a 7 way back in the day. And I remember on the back, like the curvature of the back pockets. I think that was called the stand-up short, and I think it derived from the fact that they would stand up on their own. But I could be making this up. I'm not sure.
I mean, it sounds cool.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a good story. I'm pretty sure that's accurate, but I don't really remember. Like, what was your favorite thing about working at Levi's and Ralph?
Oh, I mean, Levi's was really cool because I got to see like every single facet of Levi's. I started with what was then called premium. This is before they reacquired their true premium, LVC and LMC, Levi's Vintage Clothing and Levi's Main Crafted. So for then, premium was like anything that was like $88 and wouldn't be promotional, and that was sold at my customers were Urban Outfitters, Nordstrom, and like Von Maur. So that was like it.
The 511,
511, 510. Uh, that was kind of it.
the commuter jeans.
Random 505 here and there. Commuter jeans, yes. Yep. With the foil. Yeah, those are interesting. Those were kind of cool. And then I went to the Dockers brand and I did Dockers for Macy's, which is like, that's a beast.
Wow.
That's volume and that's really intense business and you can't mess up. And it was, Dockers is such an iconic brand. And I learned a lot. I was the junior account executive under senior account executive, and my boss Sarah taught me so much, and I attribute a lot to my career to her. Um, and then about a year into that role, Levi's did reacquire their premium brands, Vintage Clothing and Main Crafted, and they wanted to start a premium sales team. And so, for whatever reason, they picked me and a few other employees at our main office on think it's like 1411 Broadway, 40th and Broadway. I think it's 1411. And we developed a showroom down in Soho, a cool loft, and that's where we put the vintage clothing and the main crafted. And after about 6 months of that business, we realized there was a huge white space for a premium Levi jean at like $128. There was
Sure.
nothing really there for men or women. Um, is either $88 and it was like your standard, non-salvage but good washes. That was at Nordstrom. It's that Nordstrom guy, kind of like Joe's Jeans. And then you got to go to like if you want the red tab, go to vintage clothing, and that's like it's not for everybody. It's $30. It's quirky. It's based off of archival fits. Modern fits were main crafted, but there was no arcuate in the back. There was a blue tab instead of a red tab, so it didn't have that same authenticity to it.
Mm-hmm.
And let's make a 511 selvage at 128. Let's make 501 selvage. Let's make for women's. This was right when like redone was getting really big, and Kim Kardashian had like a really high waisted jean.
Okay.
And so let's make this for someone to come in instead of thrift shopping. Let's just make it. And that's when my like I said, we dabbled in creative things. I wasn't part of design, but it was our initiative to lead to a jean called the wedgie jean.
Okay.
And it was just like, it give you that mom butt. And it was like super high waisted and it looked vintage, but you could buy your size and you have to go, scouring through thrift shops to find it. And it took off. We were getting, I don't know, 20 plus sell through a week at like Shopbop uh, for women. It was a really, really big deal.
Wow.
It was a pretty awesome time. And the men's stuff slowly started to take off. The problem with the men's stuff was it was the same packaging as our normal stuff. So
Mm.
guys will buy anything. Guys will buy, they'll go to Cabela's and buy their 511s. It
Right.
looks dark rigid. It's dark rigid for a lot of guys. So you had to like really know and I really appreciate that. So it took a little bit of time for the men's business to take off. And I think it's doing well now. But the women's just took off like a, insanely fast.
That's great. I forgot that I had a couple of pairs actually. They're like a slimmer fit, but I know I believe they came from Japan, or at least they were Japanese denim, maybe.
We had some Japanese denim. We had the Code Mills denim with the Made in USA tag. We
Okay.
had a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think. What's that store? I got them at what's the store on La Brea in L.A.? Something Rag, American Rag.
American Rag. Yep, that was a good
Yeah,
customer for us.
yeah, that's where I got them. God, I haven't worn those in ages. I need to look for those. I know I still have them somewhere, but yeah, it's interesting. So, did you leave Levi's for Ralph then?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
I love Levi's. I wouldn't have left. Just a lot of everyone above me was young, and I just didn't see. I just got married. I had a baby. I wanted to advance my career, and Ralph Lauren offered me that. So
Cool. So, how long were you there
at Levi's, or
at Ralph?
I was there from 17 to it's like about 3 years almost.
Okay. Okay, so that was where you were before Citizen.
No, I have a weird kind of in between with that. So, in February or January of 2020, you know the brand Fry boots.
Yeah, sure.
So they reached out to me and wanted me to do something with them, and it was a big opportunity for me. And I ended up accepting a job with them in February of 2020 to start on April 1st.
Oh wow.
So I put my 2 weeks in like on late February, early March of 2020. And then on March 25th, I got a call
Oh no.
saying that they had to rescind the offer. And because of the world was going crazy. And I ended up not having, I was unemployed. I wasn't fired. It was crazy.
Right.
I was kind of like in this weird in between spot. So I remember March 25th, 2020. Like for the first time since I was 18, I didn't have a job, which was pretty like surreal experience for me.
Wait, so not sorry not to interrupt you, but like then how did that work as far as like cuz those of us who were working up to that point had like furlough situations and were paid out from like their W-2 from 2019. Did you miss that boat because of this?
Yep.
Holy shit.
So I quit Ralph Lauren, and so they didn't furlough me, and they didn't have to do anything, and I got the job rescinded from me from Fry, so they didn't have to do anything. The HR person was legit crying when she called me. She's like, "I never had to do this before. I feel terrible." They were very nice with unemployment. I ended up was able to get unemployment like by May of 2020 because technically I wasn't fired. So they
Right.
were like, "Why do you need unemployment? You didn't get fired." I was like, "Well, kind of I did.
Right.
I had a job and I lost that job because of what's happening." So a lot of paperwork had to go through and eventually got it all sorted out.
Oh
But
my
yeah, I didn't have a
god.
job. I didn't have a legit like W-2 job from March of 2020 until April of 2021. I did get my real estate license in between there just to try to
Sick.
do something. So I got my real estate license. I made a few deals, but I knew that wasn't for me. And so in April of 21, I got a job with One Jeanswear Group. I'm not sure if you've heard of them. Their claim to fame is Gloria Vanderbilt denim.
Okay.
Very popular in the 80s, women's jean. They do a lot of private label. So like Jessica Simpson's private label line, Sofia
I see.
Vergara for Walmart. Um, and I was in charge of private label denim for Belk. I don't know if you know the Belk department store.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Heavy rotation in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yes. So that was another really great learning experience for me. That was a different market that was selling single digit dollar denim to a department store to sell for 20 plus dollars. Something I
Wow.
was not experienced with, but learning curve. And uh, I just knew after about 10 or 11 months of that, that job was not for me, but I was very grateful for it. It got me back on my feet, back in the city. Um, and then the citizen thing just kind of happened randomly. I saw an opening on LinkedIn and I was like, I like watches. I mean, I got into watches during the pandemic. I mean, I always kind of liked watches. I wore like J. Crew Timex for the most part.
Sure.
For my second Father's Day, my wife got me a Shinola, and I was like thrilled with that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but Citizen was cool, and I knew it was a big brand, and it was in sales. And I was like, I've done that before. And so I on LinkedIn. I didn't hear anything for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. And I was like, I don't have any watch experience, so obviously, why would I expect anything?
Yeah.
Let me just go check on LinkedIn again to see like if I know anybody, if they're like a second or a third. And I didn't, but one of the account executives that seemed like would have been the same kind of job I was applying for also went to FIT. And I was this girl, I had no idea, but I was like, hey, you have no idea who I am, but I'm a fellow FIT alum, and I would love just to be able to get in front of someone and talk to someone. Is there like, I'm not expecting anything, but I just, is there any way to get my resume out there? And she replied like the next day, sure, I'd love to get, send me your resume on email. So I'm eternally grateful to her. She sent my resume to HR, and I got a call the next day or a few days after, and kind of started went through all the processes, and I got hired for a sales role. Uh, Kind of like I don't know. They knew there were going to be a couple of girls going on maternity, so I got, I handled the Citizen, Macy's, JCPenney, uh, business while they were gone, and then at that point Citizen kind of realized he can kind of talk to these enthusiast accounts better than what we've had before. So I started working with Teddy Baldessar. I helped open up Warren Wound, worked with Houdinki, things like that.
Oh, sick. Well, okay, so interesting because when you're selling to like big box stores, I guess the way you were initially
Hmm.
doing that, are you presenting watches at trade shows or like fashion week or like how does that work?
There's market uh, really four times, but really just two times. There's two seasons, and they come in like the accounts would come to our office and everybody started putting every January, February, and every like August, September, and you would present the line to them there.
Okay, so that's interesting because that means twice a year you probably have to come out with product line, unlike Rolex, Watches and Wonders, or it's like once a year usually, unless there's
I mean, we
like,
have a fall and a spring line.
wow, okay, so it's treated like a fashion brand.
It's very very similar to everywhere I've been.
And how many SKUs do you guys do?
Too many.
Really?
Uh, I mean, worldwide, it's a ton of SKUs. We're trying to be more global. I mean, in the past, before I was with the company a few years ago, they were doing like 60 SKUs a season. We've since cut that down. We try to be under 30 if we can.
Okay, so when you come in and get, I don't know, I guess the term would be promoted or just changed, from sales to what you're doing now.
It was kind of like a both. It was definitely a
Okay.
promotion and title. So
So what product have you can you hang your hat on anything in particular that you like really were passionate about and help bring to life or is there a watch that's like because of Neall?
nothing is because of me, but I think I have my fingerprints on a few things. There's a
Okay.
great team around me that's helped it, but
Sure.
so I started this role about 18-ish months ago, and that's about the time that product takes to, get off the ground. So this fall is kind of like my first wave of stuff I've had a hand on.
Sweet.
The Siosa Small Second was kind of like the first project that me and the team worked hard on. Our goal was to create a more premium Siosa. So what we did was we looked for a better movement in the 8322. We looked at a more interesting dial. So we looked at doing a really cool, intricate dial. I think the sub-second kind of really elevates that watch a little bit as well. We definitely knew we wanted to update the bracelet. So that was kind of like that watch already kind of existed in the Ciosa. So it was just a little bit of like a souped up version, if you will.
Okay.
And then this fall, the watch that I'm kind of most proud about so far is called the Bryson Titanium. Like Bryson is a name that we give kind of like a generic name to our sport casual line, but there's a Bryson Titanium that came out just a few weeks ago. That's kind of like my baby, if you will. So I really really like that watch. It's 41 millimeters. It's titanium. It's 100 meters water resistance. It has a bidirectional bezel, which I that was really important to me because usually uh, we can't have. It's difficult to put a moving bezel on something non-ProMaster, especially a unidirectional one. So I was able to uh, do a bidirectional to kind of, I don't want to say get around that, but make it work with how I wanted the watch to function.
So what were sort of the comps in developing that watch? Like what were you looking at as its either competition or kind of what was setting the bar for comparison's sake?
I wanted to do an EcoDrive titanium that was, I, Citizen is 100% amazing at doing weird, awesome, quirky stuff. We have like the Aqualand, we have the titanium loom dial we just came out with. There's only a nickname. Some people call it the crag or the ashtray. It's based off one of the first 1980s kind of 1,000 meter divers. We have big 46 millimeter kind of behemoth watches that are awesome and fun and have crazy strong loom. But if you looked at our titanium assortment, there was nothing under or around 41 millimeters that kind of had a very straight forward look. And I thought that was a big white space. A big inspiration. It wouldn't be in comp because price points are crazy different, but a big
Sure.
inspiration was like a tag aqua racer
Okay.
or solar graph, if you will. Um, so something very clean, simple, but still had a cool sporty vibe to it. That was kind of what I was thinking. And we do such a good job with titanium. We have our proprietary super titanium that is almost impossible to scratch, and it's still the same lightweight and you don't have to worry about dinging it like you do with kind of base titanium you see in other brands. So it's been a lot of fun to kind of see my vision come out.
Is Citizen too big, or do you compete with people in the office for like the prototypes and stuff?
Oh, well, the prototypes, we don't get any working samples. All of the samples we get are non-working samples. So in order to get a working sample, we have to get straight from production.
Okay, got it. So do you get like any sort of, I don't know, benefit in that sense where you can get like an early release or anything like that?
Uh, I'd like to say yes, but not so. I mean, I know when it's coming, so I can order it as soon as I know it hits the warehouse, and that's probably when as good as it gets. But
That's
I'll
cool.
take it. It's a pretty awesome job, and I still kind of like pinch myself almost every day. It's been pretty surreal.
That's so cool. Okay, so what's on your wrist right now?
It is that watch.
Oh shit. Well, let's see it.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just this really clean, classic,
Oh, it's super clean.
like a black gray dial with a blue second hand and all titanium.
You got a date at 3, it looks like.
Data 3. Yep.
And how much is that?
It is 550 on bracelet
It's
and
almost
495 on
criminal.
strap.
It's so
It's
inexpensive.
crazy, right?
Wow. That's crazy. All right, so when you go from J. Crew Timex to Shinola to I guess Citizen really, but your
I mean,
collage
I
on
had a
the
lot of
wall.
watches in between.
Okay, all right. So what's been the journey then for you? Because this is kind of interesting because I've been into watches for like a really long time. And although I went from not having a huge collection or anything to then like not being able to afford the stuff that I really wanted, right? And then now, I'm kind of playing in the sandbox, so to speak. Whereas like where do you go because and especially working at a brand that I'm sure you're just like so excited to not only take part in the development of but also like wear it cuz you're proud of it cuz you were literally like touching it.
100%.
So, how does that affect your buying as well?
I mean, it affects us a lot. I haven't bought really a non-citizen in a long time. I did buy, I go to Wind Up Fair 3 times a year, as you know,
Yep.
and I have a problem with just buying stuff. Don't tell my wife. So
Clothes don't count, Neil. Clothes don't count.
exactly, they don't. I love the guys at Marin, so I did buy the Marin Skin Diver back in San Francisco. I love that watch.
Cool.
Cool. The black nut case is awesome. But kind of my journey was I have a funny Rolex story with with that whole job situation with Fry and Ralph Lauren, and so I did what I probably shouldn't have done. And as soon as I accepted that offer for Fry, it was a big kind of like milestone moment for me. I went and bought a 14270, like a 1994 Tritium dial, and so I had that, and then I lost the job, and I was like, shit. Do I sell this watch now, or what do I do? Like, I can't like I can still afford it, but it was like the purpose of it kind of went away. And, no, what I'm going to do? I'm going to wear it every day in COVID. And I got to spend every day with my 2 girls. And when I work, I go in the city and I never would have been able to have that time with them. So now that watch means so much more because I wore it every day with them during that whole year. And I got to spend, every single hour with them every day. So the watch has a whole different meaning to it now, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a door closing and another opening.
Right? Another fun watch story is my dad was never like super into watches, but he had some nice watches. And before I went to college, he gave me 2 Mont Blancs, um, which are not Mont Blanc. They're still very nice, but they aren't what they are today. They had like Eddas in them, and one was like a dressy watch, and one was like a dressy diver. And I never connected with them really. They were kind of like they're okay. And when I started getting into watches, I was like, I want something that I really like. And I love the Tudor uh, Black Bay, the original with the rose, the red, and smiley face.
Sure, yeah.
And the guy offered his Tudor red smiley um, for both of my Mont Blancs.
Okay.
You know what? Sold. Let's do it. And then, like a half a year later, I was like, shit, I probably should have kept that. At least the diver. I kind of like the diver Mont Blanc. It was my dad's. I probably should have got rid of it.
Okay.
I reached back out to the guy and I was like, hey, any interest in selling this back? He goes, no, I love it. I'm not going to sell it back. Like, okay, well, shit. And I had never really seen that watch anywhere else. So I put a watch recon alert out for the reference number. And a few months later, one popped up on bracelet. The one I had didn't have a bracelet. I sold to the guy on like a NATO strap.
Okay.
And without even thinking, I bought the bracelet model. It was pretty clean. And so then I reached back out to the guy and I was like, hey, I know you don't want to sell this watch, but what if I send you this bracelet version, the same watch, and you just send me the one without the bracelet back? And he said, I'll do that. So I got the
Wow.
watch back. That was my dad's watch, which was pretty cool. I was very excited about that. And I still almost never wear it because it's really not my thing, but now, it's symbolic and that it was my dad's. It has a cool kind of story behind it.
Yeah, and you kind of went through some obstacles to make that happen.
For sure. It was a fun kind of process. And then besides that, I mean, I had both of the new 40 ceramic subs. I had the 40 and then the 41. I had the No Time to Die at one point. I've had the blue Pelagos. I had the LHD Pelagos. I've had some CWCs. I've had a lot of Doxas. I had like the black lung. I had a Poseidon. I had a silver lung. You can ask any of my friends. I had a little bit of an issue with kind of like cycling through um, watches, but I've gone through my fair share of collecting.
Wow, I mean, this has all just been in the last 4 years, I guess. So like,
Yeah,
so okay, so walk me through
that all
this.
happened in like 2 years before.
So walk me through the psychology of this then. Like, how do you know what are like the markers to make the purchase to begin with? Or is it like an occasion thing or a dial color
It
variant or
was it was a lot of exploring. I was brand new to the hobby, and I didn't know exactly what I really wanted. So, and it was a lot of it was during COVID, and you had time, and you would research, and
yeah.
then I'd buy from someone on the watch exchange on Reddit or some other forum, and then I'd wear it, I'd try it out, and then luckily, not luckily, but if you buy used watches, and you sell it in 3 or 6 months, they don't lose that much value from
That's
that
true.
time. It's not like you're buying new and they lose a lot of it. So I was able to just kind of recoup and try a lot of stuff out and figure out what I wanted. It was a kind of a really fun experience. I had the P01 for a little bit, which is a fun, quirky watch.
Yeah.
I had the Tudor GMT. It's been a fun journey. And I think
So
it's helped me in creating watches for citizens.
yeah, I mean, the more hands-on you are with product, the more product knowledge you have, and experience. And for something especially like a watch, which is like, it's unique and not unique for the same. It's almost like denim in that way, right? Because fit is everything,
100%. It's very similar.
Um, but the scale is different. With jeans, you might know exactly, like immediately if a jean fits or not, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like a watch, it kind of takes some living with very oftentimes. Do you find that there was like a commonality in the watches that you knew that you wanted to sell? Like what were some of the attributes you were just like, oh man, this does this too?
Yeah, I found out quickly that I was not a chronograph guy. They didn't click. I tried, like I said, the Speedy for a little bit. I had the Aquastar Deep Star chrono, if you want to call it a chrono. Um, I had the IWC 3706 for a little bit, and I loved that watch. But I just, the chrono never really hit me, and I didn't really ever appeal to it. I was always like a really big diver style guy or a field watch guy. Um, and then I'm a big movie fan, so anything that has like an association with movie, I really love. So like I still have like the Hamilton Murph. That one I'm not gonna get rid of. It's kind of like a cool father-daughter watch.
Cool.
Um, my first earliest watch memory is, I don't know if you call it a watch memory, but you know the movie Commando?
I mean, I've that's the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, right?
Yeah, exactly. So there's a scene where he has like a certain amount of time before his daughter dies, and he like jumps out of a plane and he looks down at his watch and he like sets the timer. And it's so funny because it's the Seiko Arnie is what he's wearing, but for that one scene, he has like a weird prop dial on it that doesn't make any sense. But I remember seeing it as a kid, and I was like, I love that watch. And then when Seiko came out with it, like basically like the start of like 2019, 2020, I was like, I have to have that. So that's the one Seiko I have still in the collection.
Oh, that's cool.
Reminds me of like childhood, and he like Arnold wore that watch during Predator. He wore it during Raw Deal. I believe he wore it for a little bit of Running Man, a little bit maybe. So it was his personal watch. He wore it on a lot of movies. So
So, are you an Arnold fan, or are you because like a lot of his movies back then were very like military sort of leaning? What and you're also wearing a Willie shirt jacket
I
right
am
now.
wearing, yes,
So, which
exactly.
you've been a very great supporter of my brand, and I can't
So
thank
I
you
love that.
enough. But like, where does this military sort of interest come from?
I don't know. I mean, as a kid, I was just like a young boy who loved playing with like fake guns and like drawing the black war paint on his face and, playing in the backyard and, having being imaginative. I don't know. It just kind of always was that way. And it's kind of like transcended a little bit into my style. I really like the kind of like urban military-esque style, if you will. I don't
Well,
know.
it's classic, yeah.
Exactly. There's something classic about it. And I've kind of found little niches here and there that kind of accentuate that. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's something really cool about like OD Green. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Okay, so outside of Citizen, do you have any watches on your radar going forward?
Um, Outside of Sis, I already watched my radar going forward. I mean, fun, quirky things. I'm really gravitating towards the Blancpain Swatch Ocean of Storms. It's
Okay.
kind of fun, and I definitely don't need it. And I had a chance to buy one in Tokyo last month, and I just didn't. I don't know why I didn't do it at the end. It was really like, it was a very reasonable price compared to what you'd buy it here.
Yeah,
My
sure.
boss actually bought one though. She liked it, so she bought the Arctic one, I think the white one. Uh,
Cool.
but that's probably something like there. I don't know. So what I've transferred my watch hobby into photography hobby, pretty
Yeah.
much kind of worked. So those funds have now been dispersed into cameras.
So are you still going to wait on this pre-order camera or did you decide not to go
I canceled
forward?
the pre-order because
Okay.
I'm on a Slack group where one of my friends kindly had already gotten his, and his pre-order came through from a different place and offered it at cost to the group, and I was able to buy it from him.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Wow.
So right now, the current setup is the Fuji X106 for like day-to-day kind of like point shoot and watch photography, and then I'm really enjoying learning. I just got a M10 about a month and a half ago.
Nice.
Yeah, so I've been learning on that, and it's been a lot of fun, kind of learning the whole rangefinder get up.
So what lens do you have on the M10?
Right now, there's a 28 millimeter Elmhart. Elmhart, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I like 28 millimeter focal. It's like the Q2. You get everything in there. It doesn't have the same kind of sensor the Q did, but you can still crop in pretty nicely and work with what you got. But it's been a lot of fun to kind of play with the zone focusing and figure that out.
So I have a bit of news. I just took delivery of an M10 monochrome.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So the fact that you just said that, I was like, no shit. I was like, that's amazing.
That's really cool. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. I got a 50 millimeter Summilux from 1960 on it.
That's cool.
It's like a really old silver colored lens. And so I just posted some black and whites the other day. I think Saturday evening I posted them, so they're probably not
Oh,
on
I gotta
here.
go check them out. I didn't realize.
They're probably gone from the stories now because it's been over 24 hours. But I'll text them to you. But yeah, I mean I've only taken 40 photos total using it. So
Well, the rangefinder slows you down a little bit.
well, that was the whole point, right? So like there was a couple motivations for doing it. Not that this show's about me, obviously it's about you, but like I have a background in shooting a manual camera, namely a Canon AE1 from the 80s that was my dad's. And I almost exclusively shot black and white with that camera in my 20s. And I missed shooting black and white. Obviously, I could shoot black and white with my Q2, clearly. I could convert the file, no problem.
Yep.
However, with the color sensor and stuff, like it takes away some of that contrast and resolution and such. So
100%.
I really wanted to get something specific. I'm officially a Leica whore, so there's that. Um, And then on
I
top of
tried to get
that,
away and it pulled me back in.
she'll do that to you.
Yeah.
And so luckily the guys at Leica San Francisco have become very good friends of mine, and they started out as customers actually. And
Well, it's your fault that I got this actually, because you invited me to this stupid Camera West event, and that's where I met Ben. And now Ben has his hands on my throat.
oh, so you got it from him.
Yeah,
Well, likewise.
Ben's a great guy.
Yeah.
But yes, it's I'm blaming everything on you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I technically got it from Sean, but I think yeah, Ben was certainly instrumental, and shout out to Sean and Ben for sure because those guys rock. And yeah, I'm tickled to death with it, and one of these days in the future, my wife and I will become parents, and there was like this romantic idea I had about capturing our kids' life in black and white, and so
It's
not
awesome.
only did I want to do that, I knew that I wanted to do it, as you say, in that slowed down manner. I wanted to just not just pop, pop photos off. I mean, I know it's digital and I can just like click, but it's a different vibe. It slows you down,
It's 100% different vibe.
and I really I find that I take far fewer photos. I mean, I've only shot with it for one day, like I said, and even still, I've taken 40 photos with my Q. Like I probably would have taken at least 50 or 60. So already it's like, a 50% or, 30% kind of decrease just from time.
Exactly. And I started learning rangefinder on that Voigtlander Bessa, and I was like, that's kind of like you really got to slow down because it's film. You got
Oh
36
yeah.
shots, and film's expensive, and you don't want to waste it. Um, and I had a lot of fun with that. I got my first kind of rolls back from San Francisco windup, and I was like just in awe at some of the pictures, just because like I don't know if it was the romanticism of having an M mount camera. It's not a Leica film camera, but some
Sure.
people like the Bessa is a cool alternative to it. And and then I started talking to Ben. And he's like, we take trade-ins. And I was like, and then I don't know. It just kind of happened, and I was able to have it for Japan, and that was like a whole cool experience having the Leica in Japan and documenting that. Um,
Oh, so that was with your M10 then, those photos.
yeah,
Oh, cool. I mean, they were great. I
M10,
didn't realize it was
Voigtlander, and Contacts I picked up as well.
amazing. That's awesome, man. What's your Grail watch? Do you have one?
Actually, it's probably the VC Everest dual time
Oh, sick. Yeah.
overseas. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like that, or like a 37 millimeter 1990s Aquanaut. One of those two.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love all those. Well, that Aquanaut 2 also has that real grenade looking dial, like even more
Yep,
pronounced.
exactly. I really love it.
That's that army vibe again, man. Grenades.
It's that army vibe, exactly. 100%. Something about it. It calls to me.
So, best movie of all time.
Oof, best movie of all time. I'll say Jaws.
Jaws. That's your favorite movie of all time?
It's like a perfect movie. Um, my favorite movie of all time uh, is different, I think. Jaws is up there. I think I'd have to be like Dark Knight because it combines like my childhood passions of Batman and superheroes and amazing filmmaking with Nolan, and it's just kind of like a perfect storm of everything. Um,
So good, that movie.
I love Dark Knight. Yeah, I mean, Begins was really good on its own right, and it kind of laid the foundation. And then Dark Knight just took it to a whole new level. And I think Rises is still kind of underrated. You look back at it, I think it works really well, and I like how that ended, and it kind of was the perfect kind of send off for Nolan and Bale.
Yeah.
Dark Knight is up there.
Yeah, it's sick. What was the first concert you ever went to?
First concert I went to, it was very small, so I don't know if this counts, but it was I think a Lone Star concert outside of like some kind of venue. The country band.
No, I have no idea. Never heard of them.
Yeah, if you look them up, you probably like they had some like singles you might have heard of.
Okay.
I like country, so and I think the girl I was dating in high school wanted to go and was kind of there. The first like legit big concert might have been Muse in Madison Square Garden.
I've never seen them, but I hear their shows are incredible.
They're pretty incredible. It wasn't my like first kind of go around, but my best friend at the time loved them, and we got tickets somehow, and we went. So I really appreciate that as a first kind of show. Music is kind of like my uh not my biggest passion. I like it a lot. It's if I'm in trivia, music is my weakest my weakest category.
Really?
But I'm pretty good at everything else. It's just yeah. So music has always been kind of like just I like everything. I don't dislike anything.
Right. Wait, so if you listen to country, are you tight with VJ and Josh at all at Oris?
No, not really. I know them. Obviously, we're friendly, but I've never really hung out with them outside of wind up fairs or watch times or anything like that.
Dude, we got to get you guys together because those guys go to like, it seems like they're really into country. And I guess they like
Really, that's fun.
yeah, they have a bunch of brand ambassadors that rock Oris. So they end up like every time I turn around, they're like at a different country like concert.
Oh wow, it's too funny. Country's
Well,
on the
dude,
upswing, I think. You know.
well, is there anything you wanted to promote outside of this new titanium glorious watch that you just helped bring to market?
I mean, there's that. I think just the Citizen catalog as a whole. I think sometimes we're considered almost like a mall watch, but we have some cool watches out there. I think if you come to us and see us at Wind Up, the assortment there is pretty cool.
Totally.
It's our 35th anniversary of Pro Master this year, so we have some really cool stuff kind of celebrating that. So far, the C release has come out. It's a new Fujitsubo, which is a automatic vintage-inspired diver that was inspired by a 1970s challenge diver. And the cool thing about that watch is it's got a platinum DLC coating to it. So it has a cool luster where titanium is usually pretty warm. This is still pretty bright. And then the embargoes are out. So it's coming, but there's a new movement coming in the fall to celebrate land. It's a Anna Digi, which I'm really excited about. And I'll celebrate kind of 35 years semester for land. But besides that, Citizen as a whole and my sister company, Bulova, TJ.
Yeah, of course. Shout out TJ. Yeah.
So he was wearing the khaki release today. I was like, hey, same jacket.
Nice. That's great. Oh man, I love it. I love it. Well, I hope to see you guys. Let's see. You guys have Wind Up in Chicago, right? I'm actually not going to be present, but I'm actually doing an event in Chicago at the end of August, so I guess I could tease it now. But I will be in New York during Wind Up weekend in October.
Okay, and then I think there's something happening mid-August in California with another company. I'm not sure if we can talk about that, but we will be attending as well.
Oh, okay. Cool. Had no idea.
I might see you there. I'm not sure if I'm going, but Citizen will be attending, so.
Okay. Nice. All right. Well, we'll keep tabs for sure. Neall, thanks for the time, man. It's great to see you, as always.
You bet.
All right. We'll catch up soon.
All right.
This wraps up this episode of the Standard Age podcast. If you like what you heard, I'd love it if you'd share it with a friend or two. And if you have a moment, please rate and review the show as it helps others discover these episodes. It absolutely helps far more than you realize. Shout out to Jensen Reed and Super Beautiful for the theme track. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.